We have Daniel, the co-founder and CEO of Bridgement, joining us today. Welcome, Daniel.
Thank you. It's really good to be here.
Yes. Can you tell us a bit more about your journey, how you got to where you are today?
Yeah, sure. It's a bit of a long story, so I'll try and keep it short. But basically, I come from an engineering background, and I got a bit over engineering and got really interested in finance and fintech. And about 8 years ago, started Bridgement. And we've been scaling the business since then. So it's been quite a long and windy journey, but a really interesting one, and one that I'm quite proud of, and also excited for the next sort of few years in the journey.
All right. And what does Bridgement do?
So Bridgement is a fintech company. So we specialize in funding SMEs, small and medium-sized businesses around South Africa. We've got credit facilities, business loans, and we've funded thousands of businesses, unlocking over 2 billion rand in funding. We've built some really smart technology that makes it really easy for businesses to access funding. For example, if a business uses Xero accounting to manage their finances, they can, at a click of a button, connect their Xero accounts to our Xero app on the website. That shares their financial data with us, and we can very quickly assess them and grant them funding without the need for lengthy paperwork and lots of forms and documentation that they would usually have to go through at a bank.
Oh, that is amazing. All right. And you've talked about technology. Clearly, your company utilizes technology. Where do you see... So 10 years from now, what do you think is going to happen in terms of technology? Where do you see this going?
Yeah, look, I think we're really at an exciting inflection point. Every day I feel like OpenAI and the latest ChatGPT model is coming out. So I feel like I can't even predict a week in the future, never mind a few years into the future at this point in time. But, you know, I think one of the things, the space that I specialize in and that I'm really interested in is fintech, and specifically funding and businesses accessing funding. And I think over the next few years, data sharing is going to become more and more open and easier to access and share financial data, easier to derive financial insights out of data. And I think that that's going to help businesses manage their finances and manage and grow their businesses better. And I think it's going to enable financial institutions and fintechs like ourselves to look at businesses and assess them and grant them the working capital and the funding that they need in a more efficient and better manner. So that's something I'm really excited about over the next few years.
Okay, so I was actually wondering if, as an entrepreneur, and I'm thinking I need funding or I need Bridgement to help, how can I know if I even qualify?
Yeah, so it's really easy. So first of all, our whole experience is online. All the information is there. And the application process is less than 2 minutes. If you use Xero, you can just connect your Xero account. If you use QuickBooks or Sage, you can also connect those. Or you can connect a bank feed or upload bank statements. Lots of different ways to apply. It's less than 2 minutes. And very quickly, you usually within a couple of hours, you'll have an answer from us on what credit facility you can get. There's a couple of minimum criteria in terms of, you know, your business needs to have 6 months worth of trade history. So we can't do we can't fund a brand new startup. It has to be registered in South Africa. So there's some minimum criteria like that. But otherwise, it's really easy to find out what you're eligible for. It's literally a 2-minute application, and you can find out the same day you apply.
Okay, interesting. And now let's move more to the personal front. You're an electrical engineer.
Biomedical and electrical engineer.
All right, so you're not practicing that anymore?
Definitely not. Definitely not. After the second engineering degree, I think I was sick of engineering and decided to take a bit of a tangent and go into the finance world.
So what advice would you give a person who's maybe working a 9-to-5 and is sort of toying with the idea of becoming an entrepreneur?
Good question. The biggest thing I always say is, please do not leave your job and then try to start something. Try and get something up and running. Try to get some traction while you're still in your job, while you have the security of a paycheck every month, so that you can, you know, pay your rent or pay your bond, whatever it is, put food on the table. Because your likelihood of succeeding and starting a business is close to zero if you are worrying about how do you live and how do you pay rent and how do you eat every month. So I always say to people, please, like, if you have an idea, start working on it in the evenings, on the weekends. Do that as much as possible before you take the plunge and leave your job. So try to get as much traction, because it's just going to help reduce the risk or the odds, of your business failing. It was something that I did actually when I started Bridgement. I hadn't raised any external capital, and I decided to bootstrap it. So I was doing consulting on the side actually for an American company, which worked really well because my hours were like in the late evening every day. So during the days I could work on the startup, and then in the evenings I did this consulting work for this company in America. And that was amazing, because what that helped me do was build out the MVP, the minimum viable product of our platform, and build that out over a year, get that ready to launch and to start generating revenue, and then I stopped consulting. So I used that consulting work to fund or bootstrap the initial stages of the business, so that I could live and also could fund the starting of the business and get it to a point where it was ready to launch and start generating revenue, and then I could stop the consulting. So I always say to people, try and start it on the side, get traction before you jump ship and jump into the world of entrepreneurship.
Okay, wow. Daniel, you're clearly dominating in business. So I'm going to ask you another question. In terms of work-life balance, does it exist? If yes, how do people achieve that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, something that I didn't mention was, after studying engineering, I had a short stint in management consulting, and I think in terms of work-life balance, that's probably one of the worst work-life balances I've ever had or anyone could have. I'm talking like starting at 8 in the morning and finishing at 10 p.m. in the evening, really tough hours and very difficult to have much of a life outside of work. I think having left that and started my own business, it's been really important for me as well as for my employees that they have a work-life balance. So I have pretty strict boundaries in terms of where the workday ends and what's expected of employees, and what is urgent and what's actually can just wait till the next day. So I think that's always really important, and I think it's important that outside of work you need to have other hobbies, passions, interests. So during COVID, I picked up running, and that's become something that I absolutely love now. And I've done my first half marathon a few years ago, and I did a few this year. I love doing exercise, I love reading, and a couple of other things that help keep me a bit balanced. I try not to be thinking and working all the time, although it can be difficult in a startup.
Wow, Daniel, I'm inspired. I'm genuinely inspired. And my last question would be, what would you tell 18-year-old Daniel? What would you say to him?
What would I tell 18-year-old Daniel? Sure, that is a good question. I would probably say, don't doubt. I think I had a lot of doubts at that age over what I wanted to study and where my career was going to go. I think I grew up wanting to do medicine, then I got accepted into medicine, and then I was like, I don't actually want to be a doctor. So then I thought maybe actuarial science, maybe biomedical engineering, and I just was so unsure. And eventually I picked biomedical engineering, and I'm so happy that I did, because it was what I didn't know what career it was going to end up for me in South Africa, like in the future. But I just knew that it's what I enjoyed and what I was like passionate about. So I'm so happy that I did that. And I think that my advice to the 18-year-old me would be, don't stress so much about what you're going to do. You never know what journey you're going to take. You're studying a very solid and amazing degree, and it will enable you to do lots of things, whether it's biomedical engineering or who knows, maybe you'll end up doing a fintech. The world really is your oyster, and you can always change and navigate your path in life down the line. Not everything is set in stone when you're 18. I think I'd also say try not to take university so seriously and enjoy it a little.
Okay, we've heard it from Daniel. Stop stressing, don't doubt, it's going to be okay. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Thank you.